Hello. I wanted to jump in here today and talk to you guys about the 5 stages of setting a goal and achieving a goal. So, what kind of happens on that journey to achieving whatever goal it is that you set out to achieve? So, by the way, I have been thinking about doing more video style content, and I was waiting until I had a really pretty backdrop and a new area, a new room to do some videos in. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to come on and do the video and just put it up and give you guys the value and not wait until I have the pretty backdrop, because that's what we all do, right? We all sometimes catch ourselves waiting and waiting and waiting for something before we just do the damn thing. So I'm here and I want to talk to you guys about the 5 stages of setting a goal and achieving that goal. So let's dive straight into it. The first step is obviously creating the goal. So right now, I want you to think of a goal that you have. Maybe it's to have your first 3K month. Maybe it's to rank up to a specific rank or achieve a holiday with your company, whatever it is, to build your team to 100 plus people. I want you to think about that right now. And then what happens from here? So this is step one after we've started and we've thought about the goal. Number one is uninformed optimism. So, what that means is when we first create a goal, when we first decide, yes, I want to have my first 3K month, I'm going to achieve this, we feel very optimistic about it. We feel very excited. We're kind of going in blind. We have blind faith. And to us, it's like amazing. Of course, I can do that. I can make that goal happen. I can achieve 3K months. Why freaking not? So we're really going into the goal with blind faith and we're very optimistic. So that'll kind of happen just after you set the goal. And then we go into step number two, which is informed pessimism. Now, this happens when we have set the goal, we've been excited, we've gone in with blind faith, and now we're a bit informed of what it's going to take to achieve that goal. So you might say, I want to have a 10K month. And then you look at your business, you look at your ranks, you look at what it's going to take to achieve said goal. And now you kind of know. You're kind of like, oh, okay, I need to have 25 new customers join me each month for the next 3 months, or I need to have 150 team, or this is really what it looks like for me to achieve this goal. You now know. And what happens here is people start to lose a bit of excitement. And why do they lose excitement? Because they are informed on what it takes and who they need to be. Now, let me tell you, most people, and this is why I think this is so powerful, most people do not make it past step two, which is what we're talking about right now. Most people don't, because it's very easy to set a goal, to be excited, to be optimistic about it, and then to realize, oh, okay, I'm going to have to upgrade myself. I'm going to have to make some changes in my business. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to do that. I don't know if I want to get that uncomfortable. Can I do that? And we start creating all of these stories. And then what people do is they maybe unintentionally, they go back to the drawing board, or they intentionally do it. So they go, oh, maybe this goal isn't for me. Maybe it's unaligned. Maybe I should go for a different goal, something smaller or something bigger or something completely different. Maybe I should change companies. Maybe I should, not worry about this and go for something else. Start a different business in a different industry. Whatever it is, we've all seen it happen. And maybe you've done it before, because I know I have. So this is the place that most people will procrastinate. And what do we know about procrastination? Procrastination is costing you the life that you could have lived. Let that sink in. Procrastination is costing you the life that you could have lived. And so what you're letting yourself do at step two is allow procrastination from getting you to step three. And when we're at step three, we are on the home run. We are achieving that goal. There's nothing else to it. We are achieving that goal. So most people don't make it past step two, like I said. So when you have the awareness of these 5 steps to setting a goal and achieving said goal, you can actually think very differently about the challenges and the discomfort that you're faced with on this journey. Because let's face it, business is not easy. Like, it does not feel easy all the time. It's very challenging. It brings out a lot of our beliefs, a lot of things that can trigger us, a lot of stories that we run. It brings out a lot of things. So that's step 2, informed pessimism. And then we move into step 3, which is hopeful realism. So you have set the goal, you were excited, you went in with blind faith. You then started realizing, okay, this is what it's going to take. This is who I have to be. And all of the challenges that you needed to work through started arising. They started coming up to stretch you, to test you, to move you forward, to help you grow into the person that you need to be to achieve said goal. Because we know you're earning $500 right now and you want to be earning 3K per month or 10K, or you want 200 people on your team, that version of you is not who you are right now. That version of you is not who you are right now. So growth has to happen. There's nothing to it. Growth has to happen. We have to evolve. We have to learn new things. We have to break glass ceilings and stretch through like everything that comes up to allow us to move into that version of ourselves that has said goal. So step 3 is hopeful realism. Like I said, you know what's coming and you start going, you know what? I think I can do this. You might be still nervous. You might be like, can I do this? But more of you is like, yeah, I can do this. You can achieve this. You know you can. Just keep going. So that's hopeful realism. And then we have step 4, which is informed optimism. Now, this is a good place to be. This is a really good place to be because we are informed on what it takes and we are optimistic. So at step 2, you kind of might not feel as optimistic. You might be like, oh my gosh, this is so challenging. This is so hard. Can I do this? Am I good enough? All of this shit comes up. But step 4 is a goodie because we're like, I'm on the run, I'm building momentum. You just know you're like, I am going to achieve that goal. And that goal is 3K months, 200 people on your team, 10K months, whatever it is, you know you're going to achieve it. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. And then step 5 is completion. So you're at the finish line of that goal. You've achieved it. You've achieved the 3K months. You've achieved the 10K months. You are there. It has happened. And now you're looking back on that journey and you're like, wow, I went through so much to get here. And I'm not the same person today as I was back then. So when you can understand these 5 stages of a goal, you can actually start being more aware and more conscious at any point in time of what stage you are in. You can start going, oh, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. I've just set this goal. Okay, I'm in stage 2. You just need to keep moving. Like I'm someone who does not give up. I don't check out. I'm not checking out at stage 2 because once I get past stage 2, there's no going back. I'm achieving that goal. So I would love for you right now. You said your goal at the start, so you thought of it. What step are you at? What stage of this journey are you currently at? Have a think about that. Because if you're at step 3, you're on it. Let's go. But if you're at step 2, I want you to write out like, what does that look like for you right now? What are you needing to move through, to learn, to grow in, to allow you to move into step 3? The way that I really like to think of this, and this is actually something that was taught to me from one of my amazing coaches, and I want to pass it on to you. So the way that I think of my goals, and by the way, these 5 steps you will go through every single time you set a new goal that is expansive, that is something you haven't achieved before. And maybe you never even thought about it and you're like, whoa, now I'm thinking about setting this crazy goal. You will go through these stages again. But the way I like to think about my goals is really that I'm planting a fruit seed. I'm planting some sort of seed. And I used to love gardening. So when we bought our first house, we had amazing land and then we built vegetable patches and we had fruit trees and it was amazing. And I went out there every single day and I was gardening. I loved it. And I used to, when I first started, I would plant a seed in this tiny little pot. And every day I'd be looking at it. I'd be like, oh, it hasn't come up yet. Should I give it more water? Like, what do I need to do? And eventually, over time, that seed would start sprouting and it would be this tiny little sprout. And then it would start growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point that I'm like, whoa, this is so big. I need to go plant this into the garden now. And what most people do is they are not patient enough and they do not have enough faith that that seed is going to turn into a sprout and then turn into an amazing tree, aka step 4, which is the momentum. And then we have the completion where, the tree has started giving us fruit or it's giving us vegetables, whatever it is. And so what most people do is they'll plant a seed and like an hour later or a day later, they'll start getting frustrated and think it's not working. And just before it's about to pop up, sprout up, they pull it out. They pull it out of the pot to see if it's growing, or they start digging around it to look, and they ruin the roots. They break the roots. They ruin the plant. They ruin the tree. And so what has to happen? They have to start all over again, all over again. So can you be the person who has enough faith and patience in this journey that's taking you to where you want to go? Can you have that? And can you be the person who doesn't just plant the seed, but actually waters and nurtures it and ensures it has healthy soil, it's getting enough sunlight, and when you plant it out into the garden, you're actually still nurturing it and you're checking on it, you're providing love and care to it? Or are you just going to be the person who plants the seed and expects something happens, but you haven't put any love, nurturing, or care into it? And I love this analogy because I loved gardening so much. So when I heard it, I was like, yes, I am using that from now on. So I want you to think of your goals and think of these stages as you're moving through it, as you're on the journey to achieving said goal. And then I want you to imagine every goal like a seed that you're planting in a pot. Can you have faith? Can you have faith? Because when you have faith, it might take a while to come up out of the pot. And oh my God, sometimes, yeah, it used to frustrate me. I used to be like, come on and grow. I want to see you grow. And then all of a sudden, I'd be out planting it in the garden. And then a week would pass, 2 weeks would pass, and I'd go out and be like, whoa, this literally happened overnight and it's now producing fruit. It's now giving me tomatoes or cucumbers or snow peas that were my favorite ones to grow. And I'd go out there and be like, whoa, that feels like it happened overnight, but it didn't. It was a journey. It was a process to that happening. So can you be somebody who doesn't check out? Can you be someone who has faith, who has patience, who knows I am on this journey. I have set the goal. I'm now being guided towards creating this and turning it into my reality. All right, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you very soon.